Have you ever wondered why some people seem, well, stuck? Constantly blaming the system for their problems. It's a really tough conversation, but today we're going to break down the psychology behind it, looking at both the very real barriers people face and the internal mindsets that can keep them trapped. So, this is the big question we're tackling. Is it really the system that's holding people back, or is there something else going on inside our own heads? As we're about to see, the answer isn't simple. It's a complicated mix of both. So, first things first, we have to understand that this isn't a black and white issue. Not at all. There are actually two truths that we have to hold in our minds at the exact same time to really get it. Okay, on one hand, let's be super clear, systemic barriers are absolutely real. Things like corruption, a broken education system, or discrimination, these can definitely make it harder for someone to get ahead. But, and this is the tricky part, on the other hand, blaming that system can become a kind of psychological shield. It protects the person from having to face their own choices and their own role in their situation. Both of these things can be true at once. Okay, so now that we've got that foundation, let's dive deep into the psychology of it all. We're going to unpack 6 key mental mechanisms that can really trap someone in a cycle of blame. All right, first up is a classic idea from psychology, the external locus of control. This is basically the core belief that your life isn't really in your own hands. You feel like outside forces, the government, society, or just random ruck, are the ones pulling the strings. It's that feeling that you're just a puppet. Your own actions feel kind of pointless because these big outside forces are really in charge. And if you truly believe your failures are controlled by other people, then your motivation to even try, it just evaporates. Okay, mechanism number 2 is the ego protection mechanism. Think about it like this. Our minds are literally designed to protect our self-worth. Facing our own failures is incredibly painful, so our brain subconsciously builds up these little defenses to soften the blow. And just look at the difference here. On one side, you have the painful truth, admitting, I made some bad calls, or I didn't take enough risks. Man, that stings. But on the other side, you've got the ego's shield. It's a much safer story, the system is corrupt, or the game is rigged. It instantly moves the blame from me to some big external it. And just like that, the story you tell yourself completely flips. It's no longer, I failed because I didn't adapt. It becomes, I failed because the system is corrupt. And this isn't just an excuse. It's a really powerful, protective way of reframing reality to keep your ego from getting bruised. Now, our third mechanism is something called learned helplessness. This is what happens when someone tries and fails over and over and over again to the point where they just stop trying altogether. And it's so important to understand this is not laziness. It's a state of genuine psychological exhaustion. You can see how this builds in such a simple, devastating cycle. You try, and nothing changes. You try again, and still nothing. After a while, your brain just logically concludes, why even bother? Effort starts to feel like it only leads to more pain, not progress. Okay, this next one gets pretty deep. It's called identity attachment. This is when the very idea of being a victim, of being oppressed, or constantly denied opportunities becomes a core part of who you are. This identity gets built around statements like, I am oppressed, or I am just unlucky. And here's the really wild part, the paradox of it all. If this is who you believe you are, then actually succeeding could feel like a threat to your identity. Unconsciously, staying stuck can feel safer, because at least it's familiar. Fifth on our list is a huge motivator for all of us, fear of risk. I mean, let's be honest, taking big risks, like starting a business, moving to a new city, going back to school, that stuff is terrifying. And blaming the system, it provides the perfect, ready-made reason for never having to face that fear. Exactly. If you've already decided the whole game is rigged, then why would you even bother to make a big, risky play? This belief effectively gives you permission to stay right where you are in your comfort zone and avoid all that anxiety that comes with big, uncertain changes. And finally, number 6, social reinforcement. We're social animals, right? And the beliefs of the people around us, our family, our friends, our community, they have a massive impact on how we see the world. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Mindset is contagious. If you are surrounded by voices that are constantly saying, success is just luck, or the system will never let you win, it is incredibly difficult not to start believing that yourself. It just becomes your reality. Okay, so after breaking down those 6 powerful psychological forces, the big question is, what's the alternative? This brings us to a really crucial difference between two very different ways of responding to the exact same obstacles. And this right here, this is the absolute key difference. The unhealthy response says, the system is broken, so I give up. It leads to paralysis. But the healthy response acknowledges the problem, the system is imperfect, but follows it up with a strategic move. So I will play smart within it. It's a fundamental shift from being paralyzed to having agency. And that brings us to what might be the single most powerful, most actionable insight in this entire breakdown. It's a fundamental shift in perspective that seems to unlock everything for people who manage to change their circumstances for the better. It often starts with this question, a question we've all asked when things go wrong: why is this happening to me? This question is passive. It puts you at the center of the story, sure, but as a victim of events, not as an actor. The real shift happens when the question changes to this: what can I control today? This question is active. It's empowering. It doesn't deny that problems are out there, but it immediately pivots your focus to the things, no matter how small, that are within your power to change right here, right now. And that is the final crucial takeaway. The people who break free from tough situations, they often start by relentlessly focusing on what they can control, even when that control feels incredibly small at first. It's that shift from blaming what's outside to taking control of what's inside that truly makes all the difference. So the question to leave you with is this: what can you control today?